What's going on, Reggie? How you doing, man?
Yeah, what's going on? Oh 07. What's happening
Man,
with you?
man, I'm here. I'm here, man. Hey, so what I noticed, man, we have a lot of conversation on the phone, right? And
Right.
then you mentioned something to me about making more money is easier than actually making less. Like making 10x is actually easier than 2x. And when you
Right.
said it to me, it didn't make any sense. I'm like, how is it easier to make 10 times more than to make a 2x? You know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
man, talk to me about that, man, because I understand it a little more better, but I know you can go a bit deeper when it comes to that.
Well, I mean, think about it. Let's rewind back to 2003 going into 2004, right? When you was launching Varela Lift, right?
2000,
Look,
yep.
right. Look at how you were so hands-on and so excited about bringing your product to the market, right?
Hmm.
Uh, but a lot of it from before our conversations, you were doing all the work. You were trying, yeah, I mean, busting your brain, trying to figure out, man, how I'm gonna do this, how I'm gonna do that. And every time we talk, it was something else you had to do, right?
Hmm.
Now, keep in mind, you have a wife, you have kids, you have work, you have responsibilities. Yet you're trying to bring this business to the market, and you're trying so hard by yourself, right?
Yep.
So, and then you think about it. I kept telling you, what, hey, focus on business credit, focus on certain things, right? We
Hmm.
discussed that. And the reason being, it was because it was going to make your life a lot more easier when you decide to reduce your hands on. Remember, this is your brainchild, right?
Hmm.
Your business, your ideas, your dreams, that's your brainchild. And a lot of entrepreneurs right out the gate, they want to be like that mom that just can't let that baby go,
Yeah.
right? So you don't want it to pass it off. You don't pass the baby off. You don't want it to sleep because you always want it to hold it because that's your baby, right?
Hmm.
So when you look at it though, in business, when you start to be so hands on, you're working in your business,
Okay.
and the more details you get involved in the everyday business, you're going to lose the broader aspect. And if you don't lose the broader aspect, you're going to frustrate yourself because
Okay.
you got so many. You ever heard that phrase? The owner wears so many hats.
Uh-huh.
They're the everything for their business. So now you're working for like at the 2x level. You're in the details. You're hands on. You're grinding, grinding, grinding. And then at the end of the day, guess what? You're not producing the value equivalent to the time and hard effort you put in.
And why is that? Why you think is that though? Because as I said, man, I went to a phase where I realized working harder is not it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And because I'm looking at certain people who mentor me or certain people I look on online, I'm looking at you and I'm like, okay, in order for me to acquire that, there's no way you can tell me that I have to work 20 times as hard to acquire that. So right off the back, I know that that wasn't it, but I still didn't know what it was. So it's like all these late night call with me and you, and we're going back and forth on the phone. And I'm like, yo, this can't be it, man, because all I'm doing is getting burnout after
Yep.
burnout, and it's starting to kill my creativity, right?
Right.
So everything that you're saying now makes sense, man. So yeah, no, I agree with you.
Well, let's take it. A lot of people are pretty much sports fans, and I'll just, me personally coming out of the football arena, it will be a million times harder for me as a single player on the field to go from one end to the other to make a touchdown,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I'm trying to do it all myself and I have all these external opponents. So, like on a defense in a football game, there's 11 guys out there. And imagine me going against the best of all 11 of these guys trying to get into the into the end zone, right?
Mm-hmm.
But to spread that balance out, to make it easier for me, that's why they have positions, right?
Hmm.
As a position player, I know my job very well.
Yeah.
So now I can focus all my energy in preparing for my job and my assignment. So when it's 10x is easier than 2x, right? I, Basically, what that means is bringing in other people to focus on 80% of the work while I focus on, let's say, my 20%,
Okay.
right?
I think that makes a lot of sense. When you think about it, let's use since you're talking about sports, let's use LeBron James as an example.
Right.
He not sitting up at night trying to be his own therapist, be his strength
No,
coach,
no,
his
no.
nutrition. He's not trying to be all of that. He has a team around him that focus 100% on that
Yep.
area so he can be great. Focus on him. But guess what? Every day, people, we see the same thing every day, right? A lot of people watching that, but nobody picks up on the aspect of why these people are great, right? They are great at doing
Right.
one thing first. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? So
Exactly.
so I understand where you're coming from when you say, hey, you gotta have a team and give
Hmm.
who specialize. So that way, when you have all your 100% effort focused in one area of different expertise, not only it's easier for them, you'll grow even more rapider. You know what I'm saying?
Right. It not only makes it easier for the individual, for that entrepreneur, it maintains a healthy balance of self awareness, their self being, their health, and things like that. There's no there. It reduces the amount of stress on you. And if you reduce the amount of stress and you're trying to build something, that is key because now you can still maintain that creativity, that motivation, that inspiration that you need to go ahead and build that empire that you're trying to build. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. No, that
So,
that
you
makes
know
sense.
how right. And you remember when I told you early on the whole purpose of acquiring that business credit and getting that initial capital was so you can hire those other professionals to help you do what you did.
And
Right?
I think that was one of the biggest mistake I made, man. Because you see how fast I took off, right?
Yep.
And then I went in so many roadblocks. Why? Because I now start facing stuff that I'm not an expert at. And me
Right.
taking the time to try to go learn it and come back and apply it, the market is moving and now I'm getting left behind. But
Exactly.
at the time, I didn't get it, man. I'm like, yo, I'm hands on. I'm doing everything. I'm doing the marketing. I'm creating this.
Yep.
I'm doing this. And the credit pushed me so fast out the block. I wasn't even ready, man. Like, honestly speaking, making 16,000 your first launch in your business. I mean, I still got a product right here, right? I still got a sample, right? The
That's
first
it.
month, that's kind of scary, in a way
Right.
where it's like you can't even fathom something like that happen to you, right? Because you only see these on the internet or on YouTube. But when you
Hmm.
actually do it and then you don't have the proper team or whatever around you, or you didn't even
Hmm.
put them in place when it's time, because I think
Right.
that's where I go wrong. I started out by myself,
Yep.
but then when I start to grow rapidly, I did not put people in place, and that's
No.
when the problems start to occur.
Oh, of course. So when you look at it, think about it. So you got there by yourself, but then you're trying to go to another level still by yourself. So what you're able to do to get you to that first level won't take you to the next level, right?
Understood.
So each level requires, in my opinion, that you have to have some type of specialist who helps you do what you're not good at to get to the
Okay.
next level.
Okay.
So the higher you go, you want to remove more and more stuff off your plate. The higher you go.
Mm. So, so,
So
so basically, what we're doing is what take us from level one to level two. We're trying to take all of that stuff that took us from one to two to level three, not understanding this is a different level. You got to let go of 80% of that and kind of redefine yourself with with
Exactly.
with new skills, team, and tools to go to the next step. I mean, it makes sense now, but during the process, man, you couldn't tell me anything. It didn't make no sense.
Right. Well, well, I mean, think about it. I've been at this since pretty much 1994. You know what I mean? So the things that I've learned and gone through over those years, that helped me to know, hey, what not to do, what to do, when to do it, what speed to do it, and when to recognize. And that's the thing. A biggest thing is self-awareness. When to recognize to let go. When do I need to let go of something and bring somebody
Well,
else in?
how do one predict that, or how do one knows when it's time? Is that a skill that you have to acquire? Is it you make sure you have a mentor, and if you don't understand, hit that mentor up and be like, "Oh, this is the situation." How do one go by doing that?
Remember, well, mentors can come in all forms. It can be a book, it can be a podcast, it can be a natural person, and
Mm-hmm,
most people don't necessarily have that relationship with a person who's been there and who's doing it,
mm-hmm,
right? So your first mentors can be a book, and that's why I advocate reading a lot and specific books. I don't watch much TV and I don't do a lot of things like that for
mm-hmm.
entertainment sake, but I read a lot and I hone my skills. But for the most part, there you go, there you go, there you go. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Man, you see what I'm saying? Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
So that's number one, how you begin to develop. But when you begin to become frustrated, when
Mm-hmm.
you begin to lose motivation or lose that steam and momentum, those are indicators that, hey, I'm pulling too much weight. I need to find somebody to do something else. You know, the biggest thing, you can journal. You can write down the specific things you need. You were trying to write ads. You were trying to do your email marketing. You were trying to do come up with the concepts and ideas and
Everything,
everything.
everything
But
I
when
was
you
trying to do. I'm gonna be honest.
Right. And we all, I think we all have been there. We've all been there. But the biggest thing is to start writing that stuff out and then start asking yourselves questions. Let me share this. One of the biggest things I noticed from entrepreneurs and especially startups and business owners who were so hands-on, they don't have personal time. So what happens is that journal time, that time for them to reflect and calm down, they neglect that,
Mm,
and that's where your burnout begins to happen when you refuse to do the personal time, the relaxation, and to the creative time,
that makes a lot
right?
of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense, man. I think when people listen to this, it will open up a lot of doors because I realize everybody who's going on a similar journey face a lot of similar hurdles.
Yep. Yep.
Because what I'm facing or what I used to face, I thought I was all new, and the universe picked me and said, "Hey, I'm gonna create this hurdle just for you. Nobody else in the world, because that's how you feel, literally. Nobody
Right.
else in the world
Right.
is going through anything but you, and we create this hurdle for you." And I'm like, I thought I was being picked on. I was starting to take it
Right. Right.
personal. But
Personal.
then I realized, it's just part of the growth, and people who are successful, they have been there and done that before. So we have to
Right.
take that into consideration. You know what I mean?
Definitely. Definitely. And imagine this. And I think this is one of the biggest parts when people have these dreams and aspirations. They shoot out the gate very fast. They're excited about it, but when they start to see their bank account dwindle down because they're throwing money everywhere, and
Mm-hmm.
there's no real strategy to the actual improvement. You know what I mean? So, for example, look at this right here. These
Go.
are steps, 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 steps. So when you write it out and you begin to plan ahead, and that's where that personal time and journal time come in, now you can start to use your money more efficiently. And then you can use it wisely to grow your business. And that's part of, again, bringing in your team members, those who specialize. It can be part time, for example, Fiverr. These are freelancers. They can do a job that would have took you maybe 3 hours, maybe a week to do.
That makes sense. That
Right.
makes a lot of
So
sense.
you save a lot more money when you take that time to journal, to outline and plan ahead, and to have somebody to kind of
My
point you in the
phone
right
going
direction,
off
say, hey,
like
you,
crazy. Let me.
huh?
I'm listening. My phone going off like crazy.
That's all good.
Let me pause. I'm listening to you,
That's those clients trying to get in that mentorship for yours.
and I'm
Because
telling you, man. All these DMs, my IG DMs, just blowing up right now. So I'm like,
right.
I'm gonna get
And
back
you know
on
what
it.
else I noticed? You know, like I said, I'm not a big social media person, as you know, but at the same time, when you tell me about somebody you see on the internet, right? And
Hmm.
they're you know they're throwing out these courses or these mentorships and whatnot. What value are they getting? Actually
Oh,
getting?
I actually know, because I see behind the scenes of a lot of
Right,
stuff that they're getting, and it's actually nothing.
right.
It's actually playing on the ignorance of who don't know
Yep.
and pretending and pretending like something you did 6 years ago is still relevant the way you do it today.
The world have changed so much
World
since
change.
six, you know, so much and is rapidly changing. So what if, but if nobody tells you, how would you know, right?
You wouldn't know. And the thing
And
is, go to is, oh, if you're not successful, you wasn't working hard. You're working hard, but you're working hard on the wrong thing. And I think
exactly.
people cannot, a lot of them cannot determine. A lot of people willing to put in the work. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
People will
definitely.
put in the work. They don't even know where to start. They don't know what to put the work in. So their energy is scattered all over the place. And
Right,
that come back to the point where you said 10x is easier than 2x. And when you set a goal so low, there's a million ways to hit that goal, right? So when
right,
there's a million ways to hit that goal, that means there's a million ways for your energy to be spread across.
right,
And we know, if you don't have like intention, like laser focus and attention and intention on a specific thing, it's hard to win, right? But when you set your goal so high, the bar is so high, there's like 3 to 4 ways to get there. So guess what? You
right.
gotta shred all the BS. You
Yep,
gotta shred all the BS because now you're focused. Because you'd be like, okay, this won't help me and this won't help me to reach to this level. So therefore, you're shredding the weight that's useless. It was
right,
great in the previous stage, but when you reach this stage, it's useless. And
right.
I'm guilty of that. I thought what took me from Jamaica and through college, the mentality and the work ethic,
Hmm.
I thought that would have took me to seven figure.
No.
I quickly learned, the only thing it took me is to bed when I burn out. That's the only place it took me. And then I
Right.
started learning like, no, 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 that took you to a certain level. You got to change that mentality now.
Definitely, definitely. And let's take it back to the sports analogy. If my goal is to play professional NFL football,
Hmm.
I can't be at basketball practice, soccer practice, track practice, you know, whatever else practice, because I'm spreading my energy too thin. So what you have to learn to do is as you grow from high school to college, you're constantly refining yourself, building yourself up, but it's focused on one sport, right? And
Absolutely.
then and then you narrow and come to that peak, that peak in your life and your training to take you and catapult you into the NFL, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean,
So
yeah, go ahead, man. My bad.
yeah, no, same thing in business, same thing in whatever you want to bring a product to market. We're going to have to focus. What specific product? And when you came out with Varela Left, how many products did you have?
At the time of launching,
Yeah,
yeah,
you
one.
had one product,
Yeah.
but you focus your energy on that one product first.
Oh,
And-
absolutely. Yeah. 100%. Even with the new brand that I just launched, right? I
right,
did almost 30,000 the first month. I laser focus. And you know what, though? I didn't even correlate that together and realize, hey, because I'm not trying to sell 100 products,
right,
why am See everything. It's universal. The law.
It is. There's just certain principles, you got to learn, and people, certain people can give you. One of my sayings is, people can't give you what they don't have, right?
Mm,
People can't give you what they don't have. Certain people don't have 20 years plus years of history to tell you, "Oop, don't do that. You're gonna fall into a ditch.
hmm
Don't spend the money there." And I think we had many conversations about, hey, you know, don't spend that money over here. That's better to be used over here. And
hmm
matter of fact, it's going to save you money if you do it this way versus that way,
The
right?
right way.
Well, yeah, you just, and you didn't fall for certain things because you said, hey, you took some advice and it paid off. So that led you to your second and then your third product that you launched, right?
Oh,
And you
absolutely.
and you still haven't, in my opinion, from what I see and what we talk about, you haven't lost, significant amounts of time or money that you hear that these other people lost,
No,
that
not
they
even
did.
close.
Man, and that's a beautiful thing. Remember, knowing what to do, just as important to that is what not to do.
Oh, 100%. And this is the thing I found out also with myself. I purchased this ebook when I was starting out. I was the fastest one to hit certain numbers. Then I
Right,
purchased this other program. I was the only successful one through that program out of hundreds of
right.
people. So I already know I got the skills. I already know I'm talented, right? But I'm also not
Mhm.
scared to invest in me. I've been investing in myself for years, over and over. I pay somebody that I vet for information that I know are going to benefit me.
Right,
So, therefore, when I'm offering certain services and stuff, I'm not just talking. That's what I actually do for myself.
right,
I invest in
right,
me. So I can't come up and be like, oh, hypocritical. It would be like, hey, I got this service that gonna help you, it's $25. But I never spend a dime on any materials to even learn it. Like
hmm
it don't make no sense. You know what I'm saying? I mean, a lot of
right.
people, a lot of wealthy people, they spend millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands in
Right. And
mentoring.
it breaks your heart. It breaks your heart to see these people get in these programs and they don't get the value, because now they got to stay in that job that they had dreamed of getting out of. They got
hmm
to stay there or get a second job. Now they embarrassed because they launched out there and it didn't go the way they thought it would. So that can be very demotivating, very embarrassing. And like we talk all the time, like, hey, bro, watch what people doing, understand the trends, and the biggest investments is going to be you, right?
hmm
So then what happens when you do get this money? We've planned it, we talked about it, we ran drills,
hmm
thought about it and really refined before we do the next thing, right? So that again, I've been what 1994. I've been at this, so it's
Hey,
no
hey,
biggie to me.
hey, that's a lot of years of experience, man. And nothing beat experience sometimes, man.
Right,
They
right.
say you can learn through pain or mentor. So, but without you, man, I would have been so lost in a lot of stuff that I endeavor in, man. I would have been so lost. So I'm definitely grateful for that aspect with the guidance.
Right.
Because I talk to a lot of people and
hmm
I'm letting them know, hey, there's people just like how I'm talking to y'all. I said there's people who talking to me and telling me what to do. So I'm not
Right.
just talking to y'all and telling you, hey, this is the next move because you're trying to get to what I've been there, done that. So I'm trying to tell you how to get there. But
Right.
where I'm heading,
Right.
there's somebody who's telling me where to go.
hmm
So I said, I'm learning too. It's not just you. So, sometimes they'll think you bossy, pushing them around. No, bro, like somebody's is actually telling me what to do too. So you ask me a question and I'm giving you my answer. If you don't want
Right.
to do it, that's cool with me. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And that just simply says that they're not necessarily ready yet. But every real business owner, every real entrepreneur, one thing about them, they are constant learners. You don't get in this game and then stop learning. The key is to continue to learn. Always be an avid reader. Learn what you can. Understand systems. Understands where the economy is going. You don't have to necessarily rely on politics, but you just focus on what are the economic trends, right?
Mhm.
So if you got a product that certain people want to buy, like Varela Lift, your second product, you find those people because you understand trends. What do they already want,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And I think that's been a good positive for you is understanding what's the next move, not necessarily say, hey, do it the way I launched Varela Lift. Well, that information is already 2 years old,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
So you have to you stay ahead of the trend, knowing what's about to happen in the next 3, 6, and 9 months, and then
That's critical.
you see what I'm saying? Now you prepped yourself and getting ready to launch. Hey, when that happened and that flow of potential customers come your way, guess who's already there?
And to your point, remember I said earlier in the video when I launched Verla, if I did like 16K my first month, right?
Right,
I did not, which I'm not gonna mention the brand. I did not launch this brand the same way as Verla Lift, and I did 30.
right, right,
Double the money, right? A different strategy.
right.
And it was way less headache. So you're right. It's not the trend change, the way your market change, but
Yep,
once you learn the universal law, that will always be the same. You know
yep,
what I'm saying? That will always be the same. Things within may change, but the goal never change. So you gotta
right.
understand that.
Think about it. Think about a house. Everybody, hopefully, God willing, everybody has a house somewhere to stay, right?
Hmm.
The roof is always on top.
Hmm.
The foundation is always on bottom. There,
Exactly.
there's no universe where the roof is on the bottom.
My point exactly. And those laws will always remain true.
Right. And as long as we focus, because think about it, as long as the roof is here, we have walls, we have a foundation. We can repaint the rooms, we can change out furniture, dishes, and
Design.
everything like that. That's fine. But the principles and the framework, the foundation, that'll never change.
Man, you couldn't have written down that much simpler, man. Like that's exactly what I mean. Those does not change. You can paint the house, you can buy new for whatever you do. The roof
Right.
will always be the roof, and the foundation will always be the foundation. So long as you understand that in business, those
Right.
never change. Things within may change, but the
Right.
the, the fundamental is always the same.
Always the same. Always the
I
same.
mean, so yeah, man, I definitely, man. So yeah, we got to do more things like this. I think the community will benefit from conversations like this, right? Because
Right.
we're not having these conversations in our home.
Hmm.
We're not having it with our friends, right? It's all about
Right.
um who's playing tomorrow, which team is playing. Everybody know LeBron stats, but if you ask them their stats, they can't tell you, where
No.
they stand. So I'm not telling anybody not to watch sport or anything, but you got to know you, man. You got to
Right.
know you. Ain't nobody know LeBron like LeBron. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right, right. Here's what I say. The only way I'm watching sports is from our skybox, right? And I and I
100%.
and I and I'm going to invite you and your family out to the skyboxes. You know what I mean? To really bring the point home that these are investments. The higher you go, the investments, the networking, who you're around. So it's not just entertainment; it's actually the investment that we can have people and rub elbows with.
Mm-hmm.
That if we're trying to move in a certain direction, guess what? We can invite them to the skybox. We can have real conversations and talk out
100%.
loud about ideas. You know what I mean?
100%,
So
man.
so I get what you're saying, but these are definitely conversations that need to be had. Um, like I said, the economy has changed drastically since '01, and it's constantly changing now. So while people are focused on the politics of it, there, I don't think most people are aware of the financial implications that small entrepreneurs, small business owners like us,
Mm-hmm.
we are at an advantage because we got cash flow coming in, we got credit, you know what I mean? We got business credit.
Huge
So we can,
advantage.
I mean, think, man, you have countries investing in Arizona, right? I
Mm-hmm.
was just living in Arizona a couple of years ago, and they're going to invest 500 billion in Arizona.
Ooh, what country is that?
That's Taiwan. Taiwan,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to bring a micro plant into Arizona for 500 billion. That, what does that mean? That means more people are going to be there. They're going to bring in jobs. Those people need the products that you all are trying to sell online because now they're going to have the finances to purchase those.
Hey, we love that.
You
Hey,
know,
we love
so
like that.
again, most people miss they're looking at the politics and not the economics.
Mm-hmm.
I think Japan said they're going to put so many billions here. Saudi Arabia is going to put so many billions here. Here's a great opportunity for entrepreneurs, whether it's online, transportation, communication, um, a whole host of services that now is our time, right?
Mm-hmm.
COVID knocked out 40% of the businesses in the US. Who's going to fill that supply chain, right?
No,
And
that's cool.
I
That's
think, and I sent you that 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 company, which was a fulfillment center that was for sale, right?
oh, that one you sent me.
Yeah. So when we look at investments like that to purchase an fulfillment center, now we don't have to outsource that fulfillment to China.
No, keep it
We
right
now can,
now.
and now we can get our product. The customers can get their products faster because it's already here in the United States.
Oh yeah, faster, quicker, probably better
Right.
quality. So
No
no.
inventory issues, nothing, right? So these are the opportunities that I'm excited about. We're here, and it's like it's that time. And I'm just hoping that more, especially urban entrepreneurs, know how to pivot correctly
Mm-hmm.
without spending a lot of money or being overtaxed. But I think it's a good time. We're in a
Oh
good
yeah.
season.
Oh yeah, man. No, definitely, man. I think it's the easiest time now to make money, man. In history, man. If you go back and check, we at the beginning of a whole revolution gonna come. So we can't wait
Absolutely.
until the tail end, and we're trying to catch it. You got to start today. You should have started yesterday, but since you didn't start it yesterday, you have to start today. You know what I'm saying?
Right. The next best time, the best time to start was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
The next best time is right now. This is the time to start right now.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and,
You
and like I said,
jump
there's,
on it.
I mean, you put out ebooks that can help people speed up their knowledge, shorten their learning curve. They have
Absolutely.
access to you, to be able to say, hey, how not to make this mistake, um, how to do this or how to do that, and just the things that you've accumulated
Oh, yeah.
outside of the
Shorten their learning curve and everything, man. So yeah, that's
right,
what it is, man. So no, man, I appreciate the time and everything. We definitely have to do some stuff. We're probably gonna create a segment where we, release at least one video Friday, just breaking down what's going on and stuff like that, and keep it going. It's depending on our time frame because we're busy, man. So we're just dropping out free games out there right now, but. Uh,
right.
yeah, we'll
Well,
figure it
just
out.
whatever your audience want to hear about, let's talk about it. Let's have that conversation out loud. And like I said, there's no competition. There's only compliment. We're complimenting each other, and there's only corroboration. So when we
Collaboration of
corroborate,
our competition, man.
yeah, yeah, we can collaborate and just keep it going.
Yes, sir, man. No, I appreciate you for coming by, man, and dropping all them gems.
Oh, my pleasure, my
Rich
guy.
in the building, the guy who got my credit right and give me all them business credit and, let me have the fastest launch out the entire program with hundreds of people. So I think
Right.
that's where I made my name. So yeah, it was a pleasure, man. I couldn't do it without all of that.
But my pleasure. We're here for you, man. Like I said, we have other things to do, so don't slow down now. Let's get it.
All right, man. I appreciate you, man.